Hi and welcome to this screencast. In the previous screencast I explained a little about METS and XForms. Here is an XForms I created for submitting METS to one web service. So in this screencast I'll explain in detail to you how you can create such web service using REST and Ruby on Rails. We are going to open the METS file. This is the XForms file, and here you can see the model, a little bind that gives a bug when saving, so I'm going to take it off, and the save the model. We use this, so I'm going to replace it with my actual home directory so that I can save one and show it to you. Okay, we save it. Now we have to refresh it, of course. We make some student ID. We make a name, then put an email. And now we add a file, any file will do, and save it. Okay, it's saved. I'm going to show it. Okay, here it is, the data store XML file, which I'm going to open in TextEdit. As you can see, it created a METS for us with the agent and the base X64 of the document I provided. Okay, now we need to go to the console, but before we do that, I have to tell you that I already ran all the DB2 commands prior to this screencast to save time. So you need to do DB2 start. This won't work for me because the database manager is already active. Then you need to create the skeleton of our REST web service by creating this, and it creates a skeleton. Now you enter it. And as you know, the first thing you need to do on Rails is change the config database.yaml file. So let's go to it. Okay, it's using SQLite, but we want to use IBM DB, so we need to state that here. The adapter is IBM DB. The database is this one, which I have already created. The schema is this one, which I've already created as well. Username, some user, it's your username on DB2, and password, it's your secret to keep. Okay, now we can save the file and exit, WQ. And now you need to go to DB2 and create the database and the schema you stated, and you can do that by pressing DB2, and then here you can create database DB using code set UTF-8 territory English US. Okay, you need to enter this, and then it would take a little time. You could connect to that database, and then you could create a schema you stated. Schema, and that would be all for DB2. Okay, so now we need to create a model, and to do that in Rails you simply script generate model named METS, and you state that the only column you want is a document column that is an XML format. So enter, and we will create a model for you. Now you need to do two things with this model. First, you need to change the migration file. Normally you wouldn't, but you need to do this because IBM DB does not support sexy migrations yet. So this is a sexy migration. says XML, but you have to use the old style like this. State that it's an XML and say it can't be null. What's the use of storing METS if it's null, right? Okay, now you exit and you save it. And before you execute this migration, you need to edit the user model. So vim app model. You don't need to, but I'm going to. Sorry. Vim app mets.rb. Okay. And this file, we state that it's not null, so it validates presence of documents, so that Rails knows that it should fail if no document is present. You save it and exit. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the XForms files and show you a little of where it's going to post. Okay, it's going to, when it's sending the document submit, it will post to localhost, okay, my computer, to mets.xml. It will use method post, right? Okay, now we need to tell Rails how it's going to handle this post request. And to do that, well, first let me show you the rake routes. Okay, this is the default routes on Ruby on Rails. It's quite old. Okay, so normally it gets something called a controller, which I haven't created yet, so I think it's better if I create a controller. This would map the controller action ID. That's not in REST format. We want to use REST format, so let's simply script generates controller METS. Quite easy. And now we need to make these routes RESTful. And how do we do that? Well, we have to change one file. Config routes.rb. And here are the two routes you saw earlier. Okay, we need new, so we're going to use this map.resources METS. Okay, that's all. We simply save it, and Rails will do the magic for us, and we can see it here. Rake routes. Okay, and now we have a series of routes that are RESTful. As you can see, when you post to mets.format.xml, it will execute controller METS, which we have created, and action create. So the next step is to create an action called create. Let's do it.